बात मुझे बोलेंगे मैं कुछ भी कर सकता है। तब अपन पेमेंट शेड्यूल फाइनल कर
A
लेंगे ना,
very good
बाद में
afternoon
भी
to
और
all of
और
you.
अपने साथ
I am Sakshi,
बोलते
your host for the evening, and
हाँ,
joining me is Avanti, my co host. Thank you, all the attendees, for joining us today. I hope you all had a great time networking with your peers in the networking lounge. On behalf of Solar Quarter and First View Group, I, Sakshi, welcome you to our webinar on Solar Market Outlook Maharashtra. Before starting today's proceedings, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our platinum partner for this event, Growart and Longi. We will be now playing a short video by our sponsor, Growart. I would request my team to play the video. Thank you, team, for playing that video. I would now like to invite Mr. Shantanu Sirsat from Growart to give us his presentation. Welcome to screen.
Thank you, Sakshi, and good afternoon, all of you. Myself, Shantanu Shirsat, and here I will be giving you a brief about Growot as a company and what are the different products that we are offering for the Indian market. So I'm just sharing my screen, and I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Yeah, is
Yes,
my
it
screen
is.
visible, Sakshi?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So this particular presentation will give you a brief about our company, then what are the different products that we are offering for the Indian market, and towards the end, some of the global and the Indian references where Growot inverters were being used. So basically, Growot was founded in the year 2011 with an USD capital of $20 million, and Growot is a new energy enterprise which is dedicated to R&D as well as manufacturing of on-grid inverters, storage solutions. Lately, we have entered into EV chargers segment as well as smart energy management solutions. So if you're talking about the different milestones that Growart has achieved in the last 11 years, so as we were founded in the year 2011 in the city of Shenzhen, this was the same year when we came up with our subsidiaries in Australia as well as in Hong Kong. 2012 was the year where we came up with our first single phase inverter in 5000 kilowatt, and it was being double A rated by Photon Lab. In 2015, we launched our residential energy storage solutions in single as well as in three phase. And in 2017, we were among the global top 10 inverter supplier as per Frost and Sullivan rankings. In 2018 and 19, we launched a number of series in residential off-grid as well as micro storage solutions. Also, we came up with the battery-ready inverter in single phase from 2.5 kilowatt to 6 kilowatt. In 2021, we set up our new manufacturing facility in Huzhou, where we have ramped up the capacity to 3 million units can be produced yearly, and more than 600,000 battery modules. And this is the same year in which we also became the number one residential inverter supplier as per Frost and Sullivan. In 2022, we launched a new product in a portable power section, that is the Infinity 1500, for which we also won the Best Innovative Product Design as per Red Dot Award. So, talking about the sustainable growth that the Growart is achieving in the last years, till the year 2015 to 2020, we had a annual growth rate of around 40% every year. And taking into that consideration, from the year 2021 to 2025, we are expecting annual growth rate of more than 36%. If you're talking about the storage inverter shipment, then we are expecting more than 100% growth rate for the same year, that is from 21 to 2025. Right now, Growat has having more than 1.5 million users on its cloud database, and our inverter manufacturing capacity is more than 3 million units annually. We are having a presence in more than 160 countries worldwide, and we have employees more than 4,600, out of which more than 650 are dedicated only for the R&D purpose. Uh, the amount of revenue that we have invested in the year 2021 is 5.6% of our total revenue. Talking about the shipments of the distributed PV inverters, then you can see Growat is ranking in the top three positions for most of the countries worldwide. Maybe it can be Italy, Mexico, Brazil, China, India, or Vietnam. Also, as per the Wood Mackenzie report, as per the inverter market share by shipment, Growat ranks number three for the supply of inverters for the global market. This consists of central as well as string inverter shipment. Also, in 2021, Growat was ranking number one for the supply of PV inverters in the residential segment with a market share of more than 19%. Also, if you're talking about the storage inverter supplier shipment for the year 2021, then again Growat is also ranking number one in that with a market share of more than 13.8%. As per the UPD Research Lab, for the year 2022, Growat has received 19 top PV brand inverter award, as well as for the storage inverter, it has received four different awards for the different continents like Europe, Africa, America, as well as for Asia Pacific. Right now, Growat is having more than 140 patents to its name, out of which 10 are Chinese patents. We are having 30 international patents and more than 10 software copyrights. Growat has also received various awards for its inverter. For example, Max 80 was awarded the best commercial inverter by TUV Rheinland in Solar Congress 2018. As well as in the year 2022, Growat's again commercial inverter Max 125 was all again awarded the best commercial inverter by TUV Randland. If you're talking about our investments in the R&D, so every year, specifically for the year 2021, we have invested around 5.6% of our total revenue. And cumulatively, if we are talking about for the last 2 years, that is from 2019 to 2021, then the total investment is of more than $55 million. That is a CAGR or a growth rate, or we can call it of about 55% every year that we have increased in our investment for the R&D. Talking about our manufacturing center, so in 2021, we came up with a new manufacturing facility where we can produce more than 3 million inverters annually and more than 600,000 battery packs. This is a completely automated production line and where we are executing the Growat's 5-step quality system. Talking about the global presence, right now we are having 34 representative offices and warehouse placed in different countries along the globe. And if you're talking about India, then in India we are having our offices based out in Hyderabad as well as in Ahmedabad, which also caters as our service center. And talking about Growat India, we are a team of more than 25 employees with an Indian director to support him. We are having 4 salesperson and 2 product managers and a team of 20 service engineers for the after sales support. As I have already mentioned, we are having service spares available at our 2 service centers. One is in Ahmedabad and the second one is in Hyderabad. Cumulatively, we are carrying a stock of more than 10 megawatts in terms of spare inverters as well as spare parts. In 2022, Growat completed its 10-year journey for the Indian market. And till date, approximately, we have shipped around more than 3 lakh units for the Indian market, which starts from 1 kilowatt onwards up to 253 kilowatt. Now coming on to the second segment, that is the PV inverters. So basically, Growat's on-grid inverters are utilized in the application of residential rooftop, C&I segment, as well as for the utility scale inverters. So if you're talking about the residential products, we are having 3 different categories: the micro inverters, single phase, and 3 phase. The micro inverters will be launched in the year 2023, in which we are having a rating starting from 600 watt up to 2 kilowatt. In single phase, we are having a range of inverters which starts from 1 kilowatt onwards up to 6 kilowatt, and in 3 phase, the range starts from 3 kilowatt onwards up to 15 kilowatt. All the Growat 3 phase inverters are coming with inbuilt type 2 SPDs on AC as well as on the DC side, and they all implement a fuseless design. Talking about C&I as well as the utility product. So for the commercial range, it starts from 20 kilowatt onwards and goes up to 125 kilowatt in 400 volts. Whereas if you're talking about the utility segment, we are having 2 products for the Indian market. The first one is Max 250, which comes with 12 number of MPPTs, whereas the second one is Max 253, which comes with 15 number of MPPTs. Most of the smart maintenance features like IV curve diagnosis or one-click diagnosis or online remote services are being provided free with Growat inverters for the C&I as well as for the utility-based inverters. Talking about the energy storage, in this basically we are having a range of inverters which starts from 2.5 kilowatt and can go up to 100 kilowatt with a battery pack that can support from 2.5 kWh up to 400 kWh. Also, we are having a microgrid system which can go from 2 kilowatt onwards up to 1 megawatt. So basically, the residential energy storage products, in this we have the AC coupled as well as DC coupled inverters. So in single phase, we are having a range from 3 kilowatt onwards up to 6 kilowatt. Whereas for 3 phase, it starts from 4 kilowatt onwards up to 10 kilowatt. Also, we are having battery ready storage inverters in single phase up to 6 kilowatt and in three phase up to 10 kilowatts right now. Also, we do provide lithium phosphate batteries depending on the different configurations as per the backup duration that is required by the end customer. So basically, the battery ready inverter that we are providing comes with an interface where you just need to plug the batteries. For example, for the initial 2 years, you are going to use your inverter as a normal on-grid inverter, but after 2 years, you want to go for a battery storage system. So instead of going for an additional inverter, the same inverter can be connected with the batteries and used as a battery storage solution. So the same on-grid inverter can be used as an off-grid inverter in case of grid failure. And basically, we are having different, what we can say, combinations of batteries that can be used. So, for example, if you can see in the first diagram, the 100% the first battery bank doesn't utilize all the charge from it. Depending on the different battery packs, you can configure which particular battery needs to discharge first depending on your requirement. And also for the mini grid applications in single phase, we are having a range of inverters in single phase from 3 and 5 kilowatt. And lately, we have launched a WIT series in off-grid section, which is basically an hybrid inverter itself from 50 to 100 kilowatt. And with the scalable configuration, it can be increased up to 300 kilowatt with 100 kilowatt in parallel combination in three numbers. Again, for this particular system, we are also providing the lithium phosphate batteries. So this is the new device that we have introduced in the year 2022, which is basically a portable power station by the name of Infinity. So basically, you can call it as an portable UPS. So anywhere you are going out of your house or for home backup or from some professional things where you are having some grid related issues, so this particular portable station can give you an output of 2000 watt with a battery backup of 1.5 kWh. Also in the year 2021, we have launched our smart EV chargers. So here we are having AC as well as EV chargers. In AC single phase, we are having 3 and 7 kilowatt, whereas in three phase it is 11 and 22 kilowatt, whereas in DC charger it is 40 kilowatt fast DC chargers that we are providing. Also, we are into smart energy management system where we are providing the solutions for clean energy for household as well as for businesses. So basically, our smart energy solution is built upon the artificial intelligence and the big data that we have collected in the past 10 to 11 years. And basically, for the smart monitoring, we are having different devices like Wi-Fi, GPRS, and LAN for individual inverter monitoring. And if you want to go for multiple inverters, then we are having a data logger by the name of Shine Master. Also, we are having our own portal and server, and applications are available on Google as well as on Apple Store. Now, coming on to the last section, some of the global references with Growatt inverters. So this is the case study that we have done in Australia, where in 2010-11 we have installed our first single phase 5 kilowatt inverter, and in 2020 the same customer went for the upgradation of his solar power plant, and where he installed the new generations of Growatt single phase inverter. And for the past 10 years now, you can say 12 years, the inverter installed is still working without any issue. So this gives us the confidence in the inverter itself. And this is one of the ESS installation in Australia where AC coupled inverter was implemented. For Royal Thai Air Force, we have provided 100 kilowatt BSS system for their 15 different Air Force locations all over Thailand. Then this is one of the C&I project in Switzerland, solar farm in Maldives of 3 megawatt, where 11 kilowatt as well as 30 kilowatt inverters were used. Again, a solar farm in Vietnam, 4 megawatt plant in China, a 5 megawatt ground mounted plant in Ukraine. This is again a 5.5 megawatt utility plant by 60 kilowatt inverter in Kolhapur, a 10 megawatt ground mounted plant. This is a 90 megawatt solar farm by EA in Thailand, where 20 kilowatt inverters, string inverters, were being used. The same goes for this 100 megawatt Foxconn Hill farm, where 40 kilowatt inverters were used for an 100 megawatt plant. This is a 4 megawatt plant in Hyderabad using 200 numbers of 20 kilowatt. This is the first installation of our Max series in Delhi. Again for IIT Hyderabad, then Forbes Aurangabad 1 megawatt. This is with Max 253 for a 7.5 megawatt in Solapur. Then again Max 250, our utility based inverter for 1 megawatt in Chasi, and 1 megawatt with 60 kilowatt in for Sadhguru Cement in MP. So that's it from my side, a small introduction about our company. So if you are having any queries, you can just note them down in chat box. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yes, Sakshi, to you.
Thank you so much for that insightful presentation. We would now like to move on to our next sponsor. I would request my team to play the promotional video by Longi. Mr. Sisat, if you could just stop presenting your screen.
When the sunshine is converted into the current
I would
following
request my
towards
team to play
dreams,
the promotional
the
video
nature
for
and
Longi.
technology had a perfect integration. Meanwhile, a new epoch of energy transition is ushered. Longi will utilize solar energy technology to drive sustainable growth innovatively.
Just
The
a moment,
solutions of
Randy.
green power plus green hydrogen is able to produce endless benefits to mankind. Longi persistently pursues the development concept of robust, reliable, and technology-led. And it has developed 5 business sections covering monocrystalline wafer, cell and module, C&I, household distributed generation solution, green energy solution, and green hydrogen equipment and solutions. And it has evolved into the first solar enterprise in the world and committed to become the most valuable solar technology company in the world to support global zero-carbon development and shape the energy mix worldwide. Monocrystalline silicon wafers. Longi focuses on R&D, production and sale of monocrystalline silicon ingots and wafers. It was the first company fully adopted diamond wire slicing technology. In 2022, the annual production capacity had exceeded 150 gigawatts. Cell and module. Longi had refreshed world records for the cell conversion efficiency for multiple times, among which efficiencies of N-type TOPCon, P-type TOPCon, and N-type HJT cells have been improved to 25.21%, 25.19%, and 26.50% respectively. Longi had won trusts from the global customers with its solar cells featured with reliability, effective efficiency, and high yield. Meanwhile, the customer experiences had been improved by Longi life cycle quality runs through every stage. The company had set the example for this industry to assist the development of the new power system with its leading technology. The module shipment had ranked Longi at the first place in the world. C&I and household distributed generation solution. Longi had set up branches in many countries and regions to supply high-efficient solar modules to C&I and household customers. and empower the cooperative partners and provide proposals for innovative solutions to customers with different application scenarios for household solar storage. Cement rooftop, flexible rooftop, and metal rooftop, i.e. BIPV.
Hello, am I
Longi is
audible
steering
to
players in
everyone?
this industry to shape the new ecology of distributed generation business in a sustainable fashion. Green
Mr.
Energy
Tiwari, am I
Solution,
audible to you?
driven by application and innovation from the solar plus multiple energies, power
Great.
generation, grid,
I
consumption and
request Mr.
storage,
Rohan to
carbon
go ahead with
reduction
his
of high
presentation.
consumption users, green hydrogen, ecological restoration, and rural revitalization.
Is this okay now? Sorry, there was
Yeah,
some technical glitch.
no problem. So just let me know if my presentation is visible to everyone now.
Sure.
Is it visible now? Hi, Sakshi. Am I audible?
Yes, it's visible. Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, very good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Rohan Shelar, and I'm taking care of distribution business for Longi India and Sri Lanka. So, first of all, thanks, Sakshi, for playing that video. I think more or less my all of the work has been done through that video, but still I'll try to provide some more details which you can inspire you to go ahead with Longi for your solar requirements. So as you can see from the first slide, that is the full scenario energy transformation. So why this particular statement we have kept as a bold thing is because Longi is having its product range right from residential, industrial, commercial till the ultra large scale utility projects. So whatever your requirements are and whatever clientele base I'm currently catering, or anyone who is looking at me from that window, they can we can serve your all your requirements. So this is a brief of Longi within a one page where you can see some good figures with us. What we have done last year, our turnover was 12.69 billion US dollar. So if I talk into the INR, it has exceeded more than 1 lakh crore rupees. And we have been keeping the practice of spending 5 to 7% of our revenue into our R&D. And we have spent around 689 million US dollar into the R&D. We established ourselves in the year 2000, and since then, more than till today, 50,000 plus people are working with Longi. And we have more than 30 manufacturing bases. Talking about 2022, so already by first half, we have crossed the revenue of 7.51 billion US dollar. Now, to give you a brief history of Longi, that how our inception was by what when we started working. So it was the year 2000 when we established ourselves in the solar industry, and by then, majority of the players were working onto the poly, or rather, I would say more than 90% of the market was into the poly. And when that time we had a vision that what can be the future, and according to that we started working into the mono segment. 2005 we started working on our wafer manufacturing unit, and Longi is very well known for its wafer manufacturing and complete vertical integration.
Sorry, Rohan, there is some technical. I think slides are not changing. You are still on
Oh,
first for full
You
is
scenario
it?
of
can
energy.
go on slideshow mode and switch your slides.
I'll just check. I'll just stop sharing for once and then again I'll do it. Is that okay? Because
Yes, sure.
Yeah,
just a second, just a second.
now it is on first.
uh it change now.
Could you
Excuse me,
please put it on slideshow mode?
just a moment.
It's changing now, but it'll be better if you can just click on the slideshow option. It's
In
right.
right corner. Yeah,
Hopefully now it's visible to you all.
Not yet.
My goodness, I don't know like whether it's because of any delay, but if my voice is so much clear, the video should
Yes,
not be delayed
there's an
actually.
option on the top center slideshow, it says. next
But
to
I have already
animations
did.
and record.
See, just slideshow up on the top I have done, and from the beginning I did. So now the first slide is visible, and I have scrolled it to the third slide already. Hello.
I
It's
can.
not visible. Do you have a PDF? Would you like to play through that?
uh,
Or you can
just
just
just a
change the slides, yes, manually like this.
Yes, yes, that will be better, I think.
and
So
I'm changing it manually only.
okay,
Now it's a third slide, milestone of long. Is it visible to you all?
Yes,
Yes,
Rohan,
right.
continue
please
this
go
way.
ahead.
Continue this way.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
please
Okay,
go
okay.
ahead.
So sorry for interruption, everyone. I think we have some small technical glitches over here. So let me continue with the thing that 2005 we started working and the manufacturing with wafer. 2014 is a very close year to me because Longi started its operation of module manufacturing in the year 2014, and 2019, more or less, when we saw that majority of the players were trying to standardize the thing, or we see a drastic change into the models after 2016 2017. From 330 watt peak we started going forward to the 450 or even 550, and then we saw that going anything beyond this is not technically possible. Though it's possible, there are a lot of disadvantages which may come or which may occur in future because of the sizing of the wafer. So Longi started manufacturing M5 and M6 wafer. 2021 we also come up with our new vertical, that is our hydrogen business unit. And 2022, the next era, when we started going for solar. So we are no longer into only supplying the solar, but we are going to make sure that by 2050 the earth should go into the carbon neutrality. So now, with the details of Longi, what we have given to the industry, some technical major important parameter, what are there, what Longi has been given as in front of you. So 2015, it was the diamond wire cutting technology. 2016, we come up with the PERC technology, which increased the efficiency of module in a very better manner, and also the degradation of the module was lowered by significant percentages. 2017, Longi introduced to the market with the bifacial perk. And with the same area of your installation sizing, you started getting more generation even from the backside of your module. So that was an innovation done by Longi. 2018, we came up with the half cut technology. And today, I think each and everyone is talking about that. Rather, that's the basic stuff which is being provided into the modules. And because of half cut, the current of the system has been reduced drastically, and the problems of hotspot and a lot of other stuff has been reduced up to the significant extent. 2019, as I earlier mentioned, we started standardizing the wafer. So as we know that why the standardization is needed, because see, the when we talk about solar, it's always a commitment of 25 year. And if we go and do the R&D for maybe 1 year and come up with the new product, we don't know if it can last for the generations or not. And that's the reason, after doing a lot of and spending into R&D, we started standardizing on the sizing of the wafer, because exceeding beyond certain limits, it's going to hamper your generation and the quality of the product. So Longi is going to stop itself at M10 standardization of the wafer. And 2021, we came up with the Longi life cycle quality, under which we are not only providing the goods to our clients, but we are also committed to come up with a lot of other respective services which will help the life cycle of our products and of our clients projects. So this is what has been a graph of Longi's R&D investment. I have earlier also mentioned that we have been keeping a practice of spending the R&D between 5 to 7% of our entire revenue, and because of that only, we have been able to gather more than 1,387 patents on our name. And it was not possible without the help of a lot of intelligent people across the world and a lot of other universities who has supported us coming forward with new and newer technologies and the efficiencies. Now there is a buzzword called capacity, because every day we are hearing that many megawatts or multi gigawatt capacity are being added. So we'd like to show some to the world that yes, Longi became the first ever company across the globe to pass the 3-digit mark, that is 105 gigawatt
I think Mr. Shellar is facing some connectivity issues. Um, are you there, Mr. Rohan? Just a moment, attendees. Mr. Rohan, we're not able to hear you. Would you stop presenting the screen and come back? Just a moment, attendees. You're facing a technical glitch on the end of Mr. Shellar. Give us a moment, attendees. All right. I think we were facing some connection issues with Mr. Scheller. We'd like to play the while on.
I think Shakshi, we can go ahead with the session. He must have lost his connection, so it's okay.
All right. Now, without any further delay, we would like to initiate our panel, much awaited panel discussion for today. As we all know that India has doubled on its renewable energy commitments in the long-term low carbon development strategy at COP27 summit recently. And Maharashtra currently ranks among the top states in terms of installed renewable energy capacity, as we all know, uh, with a solar capacity of 2.75 gigawatt. Earlier this year, the Maharashtra government announced its Unconventional Energy Generation Policy, which aims to implement the transmission of systematic connected renewable power projects. Our webinar today will explore the key pointers in Maharashtra's solar market. We have been joined by an excellent panel today. Allow me to introduce Mr. Rajesh Tiwari from Hero Future Energies, who will be our moderator for the session.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Shantanu Sirsat from Growart, Mr. Arijit Mitra from Longi Solar, Mr. Malpani from AMP Energy India, Mr. Durgesh Maru from Sun Infra, Mr. Saswat Ghosh from Galaxy Solar Energy, and
Hi
Mr.
everyone.
Kulkarni from Europe. Welcome to screen, Mr. Tiwari. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Shakshi. Uh, I'm audible now.
Yes, you're
Yes.
audible.
Yeah, great. So, thank you. First of all, it's really a great pleasure to all of us being here. and the solar quarter is, as usual, you are doing a very good role for the development and the promotions of the particular RE sector. Much needed discussion, particular state wise, because the Maharashtra state, it's having a lots of potential. It's a boundary. One side you can say like more than 720 kilometers on the coastline region, which can produce offshore wind as well and the solar. So hybridization as well as with the different kind of other energies, we can say wave energy, we can say a kind of thermal hydro energy. So a lot of hybridizations and the great potentials are there. These the target which you told about, the unconventional solar policy, and the recently last yesterday 250 megawatt peak power tender was opened, and companies were aggressively bidding for that. Almost 7,365 megawatt, 17,000, sorry. So 17,365 megawatt they have targeted for nearby 2025. This is much needed for the completion of our mission, which is thought by the honorable prime minister by 450 gigawatt by 2030, and net zero, we can say either 2050 or in the 2070 we are want to have a net zero. So in the same regard, uh, because much time limitations are there, so I would like to invite our first panelist, Mr. Shashwat Ghosh. He would like to tell about the uh, market trend of the Maharashtra, and what are the opportunities are there, and some coming tenders. So, Mr. Shashwat, you can briefly tell about you and your company, and take your time for explaining about the Maharashtra potential. Please, over
Hi
to you,
Rajesh,
sir.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we have started our company in 2017 with a team of 4 members, and in last 5 years we have grown a lot. Right now we have around a team of around 250 plus members. We are focusing on basically on EPC segment and specifically in rooftop. Okay, so that is the small brief about our company, and now I'd like to take you to the overview about the utility segment. So to start with the utility segment, I need to give you the classification of utility segment, basically the difference in between the smaller one and the larger one. So utility segments basically are classified as a photovoltaic power station where the at a large scale where the rooftop solar is usually the smaller one. And as a state in Maharashtra, we are currently ranked among the top states in terms of installed renewables energy, as Sakshi had already mentioned in her time, with a solar capacity of around 3 gigawatt, contributing the most. That includes us the second on the race of decentralized renewable energy. According to our unconventional energy generation state policy, we intend to continue on its leadership track and generate around 40% of electricity from the renewable source by 2030. So now talking about the trends, what I think that there are two trends which will be very much aggressive in coming future. One is integrated solar system, considering the every aspect of our surroundings. Majorly, we are focusing to reduce the additional land requirement to meet the objective. I think integrated PV, FPV, and agrovoltaics are the logical shifts in the segment trends. And there are many companies who are basically concentrating on thin flame cells manufacturing to make the solar panels flexible, cost effective, lightweight, and conventional environment friendly. Okay, in near future, artificial intelligence and big data will play a big role in the utility segment for power consumption and forecasting and predictive maintenance of renewable energy sources. Utilizing data analytics and machine learning uh, for the renewable energy model designing and performance analysis will play a key role in coming years. Now, talking about the opportunities, as per the Green Generation Energy Policy 6, the implementation of around 18 to 20 gigawatt of transmission system connected renewable power projects by 2015, which includes around 13 gigawatt of solar projects, including 2 gigawatt of grid-connected rooftop solar projects. According to the last updated NDCs in United Nations Framework Conversation, the climate change of in India has set out of the out of on a mission to meet up around 50% of its energy needs from renewable sources by 2030, whereas MSCDCL set up the solar plants in all districts to produce around 12,000 megawatt of renewable energy over the next 6 years. That is a huge opportunity for the EPC players in Maharashtra for the long run. And apart from MECDCL, CREDA already made it mandatory for new housing societies to have a common electric vehicle charging point, and the power should be supplied from the renewable energy sources. In addition to that, implementing national program on high efficiency solar PV modules, production link incentives program to stimulate the production of high efficiency solar PV modules. So in terms of tender,
Right.
in terms of tender, as I mentioned about the target, various government authorities have already published EPC tenders to empower the utility segment. For example, like to mention about the tender about MSCDCL tender for banking of power on farm basis, tender for developing grid-connected ground-mounted solar plants regarding the size from 2 megawatt to 10 megawatt in various districts of Maharashtra, and the tender for setting up around 105 megawatt grid-connected floating solar power project in Erairam in Chandrapur district. So all the tenders material available on the website. So that is my view on today's discussion and the point I am talking to.
Great, Mr. Shashwat. I think you tell about the Maharashtra's opportunities, and of course, the target they have set that is definitely going to be a help for the national mission. Uh, my coming speaker, I would like to invite Mr. Aditya Malpani. Uh, since they are participating aggressively and they are like AMP Energy is doing taking lot of projects bidding and even they are executing as well. So I would like to hear about something about floating solar and the kind of pipeline which you are looking for, and even you can tell about something challenges or either policy framework or something. Mr. Aditya.
So Rajesh, you started beautifully saying Maharashtra has a long coastline, right? And there is a huge wind and solar potential. So among the only 7 states in the country which has both solar and wind. So on the floating, to start with your query on the floating, of course, we are doing a 120 megawatt peak solar floating solar in MP, right? That is bid out by Ramsel, and we need to commission the project around September 23, so next year. So we'll be one of the very few developers who have presence across the solar, standalone solar, the hybrid projects, floating solar, behind the meter projects. So that shows the technical expertise of AMP. But of course, the topic of the today's discussion more I would like to focus on the two key things, right? Which is the open access business in Maharashtra, right? What are the new things that we should expect in Maharashtra open access CNI business, where we are also one of the leaders, right? And a part of it on the virtual PPAs, right? Like where there is a lot of ambiguity on this particular subject. Right, a lot of companies would like to become net zero, but there is little clarity. How do we become net zero? Right, a lot of regulatory challenges are there on that. At least perceived regulatory challenges are there. So I'll try to address some of them. To start with, I would like
Sure,
to,
sure.
yeah, sure. So CNI business, like where we have already operating capacity of 120 megawatts in Maharashtra, which includes 100 megawatt of open access projects, solar standalone, and about 18 megawatt a single location behind the meter project for Skoda Volkswagen. Right, we are doing hybrid projects in Gujarat where they came up with a policy in 18, which is expiring in next few months. We are developing 100 megawatt, almost 100 megawatt of hybrid projects in Gujarat. So I believe the going forward, the focus of Maharashtra, right, And the policy, the non-conventional policy which was announced, provided provisions for launching hybrid projects in Maharashtra, right? For there could be, but it's short of details, right? If you follow the Gujarat policy, the policy is extensively provided all the details of how the project should be operated, should be constructed, right? How the metering mechanism should be there. All those things are there in that policy. This policy is falling short of those details, but provided MEDA might help us come up with the operational guidelines of putting up the wind solar hybrid projects, right? It makes a huge sense to MSCDCL also, right? If they follow the Gujarat model, right? In what Gujarat, like, if there has been a constant complaint from Discom about the loss of cross subsidy surcharge, additional surcharge in these projects, right? When there is a group captive project are established or CNI projects are established in the state. So, in order to balance the interest of the discoms, what the Gujarat policy did is that they said that we will give a 50% subsidy on cross subsidy surcharge, additional surcharge for 25 years, and the RPO generated for the project or wheeled electricity will be accounted towards RPO of the discom. So effectively, it saves almost 2 rupees of net gain is given to the discom, apart from power cost avoidance. So when the power is generated intrastate, of course, it helps discom saves electricity to be imported from exchanges or from state outside the sources, right? So currently, if the cost talk about our power purchase cost of Maharashtra is about 4 rupees, you add transmission charges of 84 paisa, you add wheeling losses of 3%, and you add about the saving or the basically the 50% of CSS additional charge and RPO. So put together, this entire amount will be towards almost equivalent to revenues of discom, right? So therefore, there will be slight savings to the consumers, but it will be a more balanced model, and at least we can expect a slightly lower resistance from the discom, as we have seen in Gujarat. It's very streamlined from that perspective, right? Of course, one can always set up a group captive project where there is no CSS and levy, but at least there will be RPO and streamlined project development, right? So, from the hybrid perspective, I believe that MEDA should closely work or at least follow the Gujarat model, come up with a hybrid policy, and probably allow hybrid projects, which will also help them, replace a share of the peak supply, because wind is going to generate during the peak time and the night time. So that is one part of it, right? What I see Maharashtra should be doing going forward, or MEDA and the statutory bodies in Maharashtra. Second component, I would like to talk about the virtual PPA, right? This has been a favorite topic. A lot of the companies who have maxed out the physical replacement of electricity. So let's say that in Maharashtra, there is a 10 megawatt consumer. So maximum capacity would be allowed for him is a 10 megawatt on the AC basis. So end up replacing about 30 to 35%, 40% of the total requirement from renewable energy sources. But most of them have now mandate to be net zero by certain years, right? So for them, becomes the attractive route could be for the remaining 40% or 60% of the capacity could be signing up the virtual PPAs or the CFD contracts, right? So essentially, in the nutshell, CFD contract, what happens is that developers like invest our own capital, set up the project, sell electricity in the open market, right, against a long-term back-to-back contract from the sustainability off-takers to pay for any higher or lower price discovered from exchange over the mutually agreed strike price. So here in this particular model, which is largely well known to most of us, right, there are some regulatory ambiguities. Particularly, was considered classified as a derivative by some of the agencies or some of the opinions, right? So we have done extensive study on this particular issue, including the assessment of what the Securities Contract Regulations Act 1956 says, which is basically SEBI is driven by SCRA, right? And the opinion is very clear, or at least that these contracts are out of the purview of SCRA. These are not derivative contracts. These are out of the purview of SEBI. Simultaneously, because there is no physical delivery of electricity, they are also out of the purview of CERC. So it is generally perceived that electricity is highly regulated sector, right? Or therefore everything around it is regulated. It's not true, right? The regulations are around the flow of electricity, where there is a safety of the system is concerned. There is an interest of the small consumers are concerned, right? The larger stakeholders are concerned. But a private understanding between a sustainability off taker and a developer like us or anyone else, right, is not falling under purview of any of these regulatory bodies, right? If there is a strike price is higher or lower, it's not a derivative, largely because we are not delivering any commodity towards this understanding to under the contract. So I've just written an article yesterday only explaining my opinion in detail about how this is not the part of the SCRA. In earlier article, I have argued extensively that how it is not under the CERC also. So probably my idea is that put together these two modes should help the companies to become net zero while minimizing the cost to the distribution system. Right. So these are the so larger points from my side I wanted to add.
Right, agree. I think the very much clarity required on the virtual PPAs. Uh, One side you have limitation, another side you have the kind of billing charges, transmission line charges, and other things. And even the PPAs should uh, uh, either how much he will able to take from the capex side. So
Yes.
from open access, this is one of the limitation. Uh, Definitely, I think some of us will take a note, and your article will help Meda to think on that changes or something can be come up.
Yeah.
So I think Aditya has put it very well point regarding the regulatory aspects. Would like to call our next panelist, Mr. Durgesh Maru. Basically, having kind of Durgesh, if you can tell about your companies and policies and your experience, and also would like to hear about some procurement side. What the strategies you are looking for the rooftop group captive and open access side. So we understand about the opportunities, we understand about the regulatories. Now some parts on the procurement side, you can, if you can tell on the viewers.
Sure. Thank you, Rajesh ji and Solar Quarter. So yes, I'm Durgesh, co-founder and director at Sun Infra Energies. We basically specialize in the development and EPC of solar power plants for commercial and industrial power consumers. As we have already spoken, that Maharashtra is the most industrialized state with the highest industrial output in India. Having said that, the power sector in general contributes to close to 50% of the country's GHG emissions. And out of these 50% GHG emissions from power sector, 50% of this is coming from the commercial industrial, as we call it as the CNI segment. Now, the irony is that until today, only 5% of CNI consumers they have adopted renewable energy. There are various reasons for it. There are certain regulatory reasons as well as some adoption level reasons for why such less number of CNI consumers have gone for adoption of renewable energy. Now, focusing on the topic of procurement of renewable energy, so I'd like to highlight that in the state there are two forms of, as in one, there are large corporates who have their manufacturing setups, and on the other hand, there are the MSMEs, which are the backbone of India's economy. So, when we speak of large corporates, mainly their requirement is driven by two reasons. One is they want to save on their cost of energy, and other is that they have aggressive decarbonization and net zero target. So, as my co-panelist was speaking, the lowest hanging fruit for a corporate today is the on-site, that is the distributed rooftop a rooftop, a ground mounted, or a floating solar project within the premises. So that's the lowest hanging fruit. Now, the issue is that given the limitation of area, such kind of solar plant only caters to 5 to 10% of their energy requirements. So they have no other option but then to go for a group captive or an open access solution. So in a group captive solution, still the companies are able to achieve up to 30 to 40% of their energy requirements. The good news is that the currently the regulatory situation in Maharashtra is pretty much clear. So the additional surcharge, though there has been some dispute, still some issue with MERC on it, but it is pretty much clear that the additional surcharge is not there. Then the electricity duty has been waived off. So this is a golden period in terms of the adoption of group captive solution for all of these corporates. But now, if they want to go for RE100 or a net zero, go for a net zero target, how do they meet the rest of their energy requirements? And that's where there are the renewable round the clock model with the hybrid of solar and wind, or solar and hydro again being classified again as a renewable energy source, play a crucial role. And with the kind of RTC solution that might enter the market, still you would have only 60 to 70% requirement being met, and the balance 30 to 40 has to go with the kind of virtual PPA model which my co-panelist spoke about. So this is how a corporate can cater to all of its energy requirement, right from the on-site until the RTC, RERTC, and the virtual PPA. Now, talking quickly of the MSMEs. Well, the MSMEs being the backbone, they have this. They are mainly driven by two things in the present scenario. The first being that they want to be cost competitive, but if they want to compete with their multinational peers, they really need to cut down on the cost of their energy, and that's where adoption of solar comes into play. Thankfully, a lot of we are already past that phase of awareness. Now there is enough awareness, there are enough number of suppliers. There might be some problem with the standardization of technology, but then adoption is not there is enough awareness, there is enough finance available. Any bank in the market is there to finance a project. So MSMEs can clearly go for a rooftop solution any of the day, and if they're sure of their continuity in business for the next 10 years, solar is pretty much a no brainer for them. Now the challenge, the second imperative for an MSME today is that this MSME is in turn a supplier to a larger corporate, or it is an exporter, and that's where the larger corporate and the European and American market is wanting to decarbonize their supply chain. So now what I believe is that EPC players and developers like us should not just talk about cost in the market, but we should also motivate the industries in the market that, you know what, if you go for a renewable energy, as in the solar solution, definitely your green credentials will improve, and you can find a better buy-in for your product and services from corporates as well as in the export markets. And this kind of improvement in your ESG credentials ensures that you have a long-term business continuity and a sustainable growth. So this is another lever. Alignment with the country's net zero target is another lever that I think other EPC players and developers should talk about and should use in their marketing pitch to get as many industries as possible on board for adoption of solar. So yes, that's it from my side on solar for C&I segment. Thank
Perfect,
you.
Durgeshji. The right way you have till, and the C&I segment, even MSME market, that is the one of the basically potential area. We can say like 2.8 million consumers are there in your Maharashtra, and mostly like 125 million population is there. So the kind of area 3 lakh kilometer square area, so that have a huge potential. Moving ahead to like our next panelist, Mr. Rahul Nalwade. Would like to hear about the policy framework of open access. What is your view on Rahulji on this? If you can tell about first about you and your company, and then you can tell on the topic. You are not audible, Rahulji.
You're not audible, Mr. Nalvade. Would you like to join back?
So, looking the time constraint, I think when Rahul Narwade will be back, let me take Arjit Mitra. So, basically, we talk about the procurement and policy frameworks, regulatory, we understand. Now, the one of the biggest solar panel and cell manufacturer, and even the one of the biggest, we can say, the solar module supplier for India, Longi. So what is their view on the point of ALMM, as well as the kind of uh, some indications on the government side, and because of that, what impacts comes on the shortage or module price or even the project delivery. So if you can highlight on those aspects, Arjit, that will be great.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you for asking me the pertinent question. Now, ALMM is one thing which we'll have to go into the root of the intention to for ALMM. So basically, ALMM, why the regulatory bodies they introduced it. The intention behind ALMM was the list of manufacturer who their manufacturing units are up to the mark, and the modules what the end users, the developers are getting, they are from a qualitative manufacturing process. They're coming through qualitative manufacturing process. Now this is well intended initiative, but at the same time, what happened after that, we saw because of the implementation constraints, this this policy or this initiative has taken a different shape. Now this policy is being used as a non-tariff barrier basically. So if I use an anecdote, we have a larger target as a country to achieve, and we have a lot of commitments towards the globe for being our in reducing our carbon footprint, and it's a humongous task. So we need a lot of tools to achieve that, and keeping it in sustainably, we need sticks to climb mountains. So but the sticks are being used in a different way. So now while implementing ALMM approvals, one side we are seeing that there are a lot of manufacturers who are in the list. We understand the manufacturing process of those manufacturers are might not be the standard of those manufacturers who are excluded. Unfortunately, they are from outside India. And on the other side, you are excluding a lot of manufacturers who are having the best possible manufacturing setup in the world, and those modules are being used in across the globe, all the major solar markets. So I think the policymakers, they will have to understand one thing, that when we are developing solar projects, we are developing our country's energy sustainability and energy independence. Those independence will only come with quality product. And if you exclude certain world class manufacturers from being able to supply in this market, then those the customers who are taking initiative, they're investing their money, they're getting funding from outside India, and they're developing projects, they will be in a fix. And in coming time, what kind of infrastructure we are building, which will have to sustain for 25-30 years. So this is, I think, a very this is a point that I think the policymakers should take a note. And also, we'll have to understand the intent behind the policy of ALM. It was to certify certain good quality manufacturing process, and the implementation has taken such a shape that you are actually excluding the best in class manufacturing factories out of this list. If I leave all these things, I think our state regulatory bodies are also working independently on. There was a circular that if you already have applied for your net meters before 30th of October, you can use your it's non-ALMM modules, because implementation authorities, they are taking time to include foreign manufacturers because of certain limitations of foreign travels. But these regulatory authorities, state regulatory authorities, they also should understand that you are asking your solar developers to use, I would not say inferior, but maybe the manufacturing processes are not up to the mark, and this will be a big question for sustainability of those projects. So I think on ALMM, I believe our regulatory bodies will take a note on this. They would not like to use this ALMM as a non-tariff barrier. This is a well-intended policy, which was the intention was to include or certify manufacturing units which are world class, which are up to the mark. But somehow this narrative has changed. Uh, while discussing on this, I think Rajendra, you are an eminent developer, and you have procured a lot of modules in quite time, and I know it very well that what kind of module manufacturing is this individually do as a company before procuring modules. We have outsourced that from international agencies. We haven't been able to travel. So I think the implementation authorities, NICE is taking care of this, and Kevin has given the work to NICE.
I think
This
some
preliminary
noise.
both can work together.
Yeah, hi, Shakshi. It is
Is
for.
there noise from my side?
Yes, we're facing some
Is it a
breaking.
noise from my side?
Yes, yes,
Your voice is breaking, Ajit.
yes, your voice is breaking.
Okay.
So,
Is it better now?
yeah, yeah.
I Please go ahead.
Okay. So in case if there is any disruption, you can move to the next panelist also. So my closing remark will be that instead of making ALMM as a non-tariff barrier, I think our regulatory bodies should take a note and try to include us, because we have already applied for this ALMM long time back, and I'm sure the discussions that we are in, authorities, they're taking a note of it, and they will be doing it soon.
Sure, sure, sure. So, right to the point which you have taken here, basically, the target which we have to complete, for that, this also becoming we can say obstacle, and either we can say the limitation, because the severe supply shortage which we are forecasting, even module price maybe get increased, some project delay, because none of the developer would like to go for the inferior quality of module. So the higher wattage of module, 500 watt peak or more than 600 or something. So for that, definitely India is still looking for manufacturers, the new machineries, and dependency on the other market. So government should think on that way. Definitely, Arjit, your point is well noted, and maybe the government will give some more relaxation on this, I think. So yeah. So moving ahead, our another panelist, basically um, Rajesh Kulkarni is there. So, Mr. Rajesh, if you can tell about the Maharashtra, we have worked like I think last 20 years.
Yes,
me
yes.
and Rajesh ji both in this industry,
Yeah.
and even I think you are much more than
Oh, Rajesh,
me.
thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm very happy that you are the host today. You are the moderator. I hope
Yes.
I'm audible.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, super.
Perfect.
So good afternoon to all our fellow specialists and also to the audience. It's always very interesting when you talk about some outlook. I'm very interested in talking in these kind of topics, especially on the outlook or with regards to challenges. I recently was in Intersolar. I had a similar topic. What are the challenges of the rooftop solar in India? So
Right.
I basically for the audience, I'm Rajesh Kulkarni. I'm a director sales at Euron Energy. I'm responsible for the Indian and international business. So Euron basically is a turnkey EPC player. We are known for delivering high generating plants. So we have quite a lot of our projects which deliver really the highest generation in terms of technology and all. So with regards to today's topic, because it's about outlook, I come from the C&I domain. We are more focused on the C&I. All my life I have been a C&I player, be it a product marketing or solar. So with regards to solar at the moment, in India, everyone knows the installed capacity as of now is 60 gigawatts if you talk about solar in India, out of which the C&I, or let's say the solar rooftop is around 10 gigawatts. All others is utility scale. I'm not a big fan of utility scale, but I don't want to discourage the developers and the discoms. It's for them, the downward fall of the tariff rates. It's good for the discom. It's good for the Indian industry for solar and everything. But I don't think I my C&I clients get any benefit out of it, or even the residential. I don't see my own bill getting reduced. So it's not of my this thing. But yes, it's very important that the discom also gets these kind of plants more and more and better tariffs, so that they're also able to come out of their debts and so on. With regards to Maharashtra, because the topic today is mainly on Maharashtra, yeah, I think would be second in terms of rooftop. If you talk about, I think installed capacity is around 1.2 gigawatt. You know, Leading is basically Gujarat is quite a lot in terms of residential. If you talk about, Gujarat has done good in rooftop and residential. Overall, if you talk about solar, Rajasthan leads the way, 14 gigawatt, but the Maharashtra is 3.3. So you can see we have a long way to go. Our rooftops 40 gigawatt targeted by 2030. I don't think it's so easy to go there, because we are just 10 gigawatts out of that 40 gigawatt mark. A lot of difficulties, especially with regards to challenges. I think we need to check on the policies. If India has a uniform policy, it's good for the industry. At the moment, our clients, the C&I clients, or even my EPC friends, we ourselves, we always confused with regards to policy. We talk to each other and keep checking on, okay, what is the right way. If you talk about the taxes also with regards to GST, even if everybody knows it's like 13.8%, when it comes to billing, each vendor or each EPC has a different kind of a billing. These are the kind of challenges that the EPC face. But with regards to the C&I industry, the rooftop, if I want to talk about rooftop, I think there's a lot of potential for us, and India is doing quite well at the moment. But the policy front, we need to improve drastically. I think the confusion is 500 kilowatt, 1 megawatt. Of course, Maharashtra still allows 1 megawatt. Captive consumption is also given. Open access, I think there were discussions. I think CRC also made a draft saying above 100 kilowatt, probably they can open the open access. It would be a benefit to a lot of our C&I, especially the MSME sector, because many of them who have not really 1 megawatt of capacity, but under 1 megawatt, they also want to go green, but they cannot go because their roofs are like completely surrounded with all those maybe there's no a lot of objects, so you can't put solar. So for them it's always a problem. So if India, like the policy, there is a policy for open access beyond 100 kilowatt also, maybe it will be a game changer. There'll be more adoption. As Rahul rightly said, I think also Aditya also covered it. I think because the industry is also talking about net zero and decarbonization. I actually know a lot of companies, they now have a product on which they write that this is being produced by 100% renewables. This is something like a culture which is coming more and more. I think if this happens more and more, the industry will gain. So people like us, me or Rahul, or all those EPC guys, or everyone in the industry involved, if we are able to talk to the clients and tell them the importance of why they need to go solar, because the game is changing very fast. Today, if you're not into renewables, if you're not going into sustainability, maybe tomorrow you will be in a back foot with your competition, because it will be only those who are going green probably will be shortlisted and so on. uh, with regards to subsidies, of course, for resident, I'm not a residential player, but I know if your project is like under 3 kilowatt, you have around 40% subsidy. If you have about 3 kilowatt, maybe you have something like 20% and so on. I had a fellow panelist in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, one from Anert. He was from the actually from Anert, and they in Kerala they also had this subsidy program. And what they did was very fantastic. I like that kind of an approach from the discoms or from these kind of authorities. They simply said, why to give subsidies? Why not use that amount? Because finally that corpus is going somewhere. You are simply giving for adopting something. Even now, if you talk about subsidy, you can only buy from a specific player who is like empaneled and so on. Instead of giving good technology, good sustainable projects, why you want to always go on subsidy? It's finally solar, it's going green, it's about fighting climate change. So I think what this fellow panelist told was, they ensured they simply canceled the subsidy, and that amount they used for creating awareness for the overall clientele, like especially residential. We all know Kerala did fantastic for rooftops. I think even for Maharashtra, I'm not saying you should cancel subsidy, but of course, subsidies are important. But more than subsidies, it's an important culture that we had to bring in. That it's not just about subsidy; it's also about going green, doing something for yourself. It's always good. Of course, you cannot go 100% with solar, but then at least going something is the right step to do at the moment. With regards to a lot of these other things, for example, safeguarding the ALMM issue that we are discussing just now, what our friend Arijit also explained. Because of all these things, at the moment, I see a lot of slowness in the market. It's not like business is not there. Projects are coming, but a lot of clients, even in Maharashtra, they are very skeptical. The first thing happens is, okay, which module, and what should be done. I mean, how whether we can get ALMM and so on. A good technology. I'm sure there are good manufacturers, but I think India is too early on the ALMM and restriction stage. I think big players like Adani, Reliance, they are having big plants. We already know about their plans about module manufacturing and so on. I think it's too early at the moment. If we wait for another couple of years and then imply all these restrictions, probably it will be a different game. But at this moment, we are not even ready for the change. If you restrict all the other players and then you only have to focus on only domestic. I'm not saying I'm not against domestic players. There are good players, of course, but I think it should be a level playing field. The quality and everything we need to really take care. I'm far away saying that we don't use. I am very happy. India should do well, and India is already doing well. We already know Modi also got, I think, presidency for G20. So there are many things going to come. Uh, I think we are doing well. Maharashtra, as of now, I think 3.3 gigawatt is very less. There's a lot of things to come. Uh, Policy front, I think if they are able to do something better, it's nice. And also with in terms of licensing and all, faster processing, ease of doing business is something that we can always touch base upon. That's what I think. I don't want to go too long. Rajesh, I hope I'm done with this. Thank you.
Right, perfectly. You are within your time.
Thank
You tell about like the fact which is we can't stop, even we have to use. We are still 9 to 10 gigawatt of manufacturing of domestic market. So we should like for the uh, 175 gigawatt which we are in 2022, and for 2030 475 gigawatt.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
definitely we have to get module from good quality players. uh, Even after 10 year, 15 year or 25-year, when we have to replace it, at that moment India can challenge that we can replace it by our own module.
Yeah.
So there will be also a huge kind of 500 gigawatt modules, which our, so Indian market should grown up, manufacturing should grow, we can say 100 time, but uh, like government has to think on that.
True.
Mostly about the subsidy you told about, like 20%, definitely it's encouraging, but
Mm.
it's okay, because kind of film city and the kind of millionaires are there, billionaires are there in Maharashtra. So it doesn't matter whoever send the,
But I
yeah,
have heard that these are the guys who ask for subsidies, to so second thoughts about it. Subsidies are needed and it is available.
right. So thanks for putting your views. Let me take Rahul Narwade. Rahul ji, are you came back? Yeah. So
Hello, am
if
I
you
audible
can,
now?
yeah, yes, very well. So if you can
Hello.
focus, yes, right. Yeah, please, if you can tell about the policy framework and the kind of Maharashtra outlook,
Hello.
what is your view? Yeah, Mr. Rahul, you are audible. Hello.
Please go ahead, Mr. Nalvade. You are audible. I think he's facing some connectivity issue.
I think so.
Sakshi, I think the problem with this app, or I don't know, this website is like you have to come on Chrome. The normal other that I don't know, I'm not sure, the other apps not work, doesn't work.
Would you like to rejoin, Mr. Nalvade? You're on mute.
Is it okay now?
Right.
Yes, you're fine now.
Oh,
Please
that's
go ahead.
great. Thank God. So it is always turbulences while implementing same business or projects. So thank you, Rajesh ji, and thanks to Solar Quarter team. And finally, let me also brief about what we do at Panama.
Sure.
So I am heading the renewable energy business at Panama Renewable Energy Group. We are more into greenfield development. We are having our own operational wind as well as solar assets and having the portfolio of 200 plus megawatts since almost a decade now. And at the same time, we also provide all the greenfield project development services to various our customers. So what we have seen since beginning of the session is basically the objective of renewable energy, then the potential, technical potential available, the policy framework, and then finally the sourcing and procurement of the technologies, and then its implementation. So finally we are at very crucial stage wherein at one side the potential of Maharashtra, if we see technically feasible potential of Maharashtra is about 150 gigawatts, all both put together, wind and solar. And only solar, if you talk about only solar, then it is basically 65 gigawatt. That is what actually government of Maharashtra has recently declared. So just now Rajesh ji told that out of the 65 gigawatts, we have just completed about 3.54 gigawatts so far. So that means we have just reached to the level of 5% so far in last 10-15 years. And if we talk about the complete RE potential, even if we consider India as the potential, then definitely the technical potential of India is about 1,500 gigawatts, out of which we are touching to 175 gigawatts this year. Well, I'm just touching these numbers because definitely these projects need to be backed by the complete policy framework. So with regards to Maharashtra's policy framework, then it is very well established since 2020 now. and backed by the methodology of ARI, which is published in the month of May 2022. Yes, of course, as Aditya ji touched that it has to be again enhanced with wind solar hybrid kind of solution through the government of Maharashtra. But definitely, whatever so far the framework was actually made by the bureaucrats and government over there, so it is still workable. And since the tariff is a driven most driven factor in the state, it is always as a part of focus and attention of the investors as well as opticers. So we have seen that basically during so many decades, the potential as well as demand is increasing day by day. And at the same time, if we talk about the complete ecosystem or stakeholders, so we have seen that it's definitely the policy framework, then the suppliers and distributors, and then basically it comes to the implementation stage wherein we have to basically do the complete balance of plant and BOS activities. And it is again, although it is practically weighing about 30% of the total cost, or maybe 30 to 40% of the total cost, but basically the complete stress factories on these components and these parameters, those are most uncertain, highly challenging, and unpredictable parameters because of acquisition of contiguous land for the solar parks, then definitely securing the right of way for the transmission networks, and then installing the power plant well within the cost and the timeline, wherein we have to go through various permits and approval part, which is again a regulatory approval process to the state government. Of course, while pushing the regulatory part and the framework with the government, definitely some of the part which is actually under control of the companies and the developers is basically because of the stress factor, and maybe sometimes the KPI of the companies to secure the lands or the right of ways or the complete BOP well within that budget and timelines, then definitely that stress is coming out of it. I always believe that while actually we are always other side of the table, that we are part of business, and basically the landowners and the farmers, those who are selling or leasing out the lands, they should be also equally get benefited, at least while doing their one time settlement. Whatever adequate ready reckoner rates are there, they should be paid well, so that they will always feel satisfied with the rates. And most of the time, people are paying through various aggregators and brokers. That's the reason basically actual landowners are not getting benefited. And that is the reason, because of this, the uncertainty of right of way and the practical issues at ground are getting cop up. So many companies are facing, like if we see, they are always telling that Maharashtra is highly political sensitive state, wherein local right of way issues are always burning, and those are uncertain, unpredictable. Yes, definitely this part is, it is not like a professional companies like us, because we are dealing with unprofessional people over there, those who are basically landowners, aggregators. And at the same time, while dealing with them, if we take due precautions while dealing with them or paying them adequate rates, then definitely at least we can secure our parks and secure our purpose of ease of doing business. And we always following that philosophy, even while uh, developing our own wind farms and solar plants everywhere. And that's the reason it has become basically our USP, our area of expertise, that wherever we are developing our footprints, at least those are far away from the political sensitive areas. And because in the ecosystem, like there should be always a win-win scenario wherein all the stakeholders should feel happy, and one of the major stakeholder is landowners. And that's the reason we believe that if he is happy while selling his land or leasing out their lands, then definitely the business ultimately it will be sustainable, and definitely within the same areas and lands, whatever we had predicted in terms of return ROIs or levelized cost of electricity, definitely will get it. Second part is basically, of course, the open access, green open access regulations, wherein as Durgeshli rightly said, that for the MSME, which is the backbone of Indian economy, at least through these open access regulations, definitely there is a tremendous scope in Maharashtra. Like more than 2.8 billion, MSME and CI&I customers are there. Those who want the electricity, which is in some of the cases second or third largest cost for them. And if we are giving them sustainable solution, then definitely there is a long way to go. We have still reached to the level of 5 to 10% of its technical potential, and all we together all can create a good difference and make a difference in that. uh, we have seen that recently, I mean yesterday itself, Rajya Sabha has passed the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill, which is again one more uh, added feather in the RE potential, and definitely there is a long way to go with this sustainable journey. So thanks Rajesh ji and Solar Quarter team, and I'm open
Perfect.
to have more interactive discussions with other panelists. Thank you.
Sure, Mr. Rahul. I think you have explained and given your view very well. Uh, Shantanu, would you like to tell something in 5 minutes? Actually, I thought you have presented. So, would like to tell about any market trend of Maharashtra, Shantanu? Shantanu, are you there? Or either Shakshi from my side, it's over. You can take start a quick QA session.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we have already answered this question. I will just show it on stage.
Okay. Two renewable sources through open access is Maharashtra. So, Aditya, Mr. Aditya.
Yeah, hi, I have answered that.
Okay.
All right. With that, we have already reached the end of our wonderful session today. Thank you, dear panelists, and Mr. Tiwari for being an excellent moderator at this webinar. We would like to thank our esteemed panelists for this exhilarating session, and we extend our gratitude to everyone, all the attendees, for investing their valuable time and support for the event. We hope the key takeaways from the session will be instrumental in paving the way for sustainability. We promise to be back with more exciting sessions. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Sakshi.
you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Yeah. Bye bye.